according to PG stats, that it is 9-2 in Ken's favor. And they've battled a lot. And the only time I can see the actual characters being picked here, it was Sonic. It looks like we're going to see the Sephiroth, but I would say that if he does feel like he needs to go Sonic, I feel like there's no fear in that. There's a lot of comfort because, I mean, it seems like he's done it a lot of times before.
Absolutely. But this is it, baby. Losing semis of Kyojin Dojo. We got Gackt going up against Ken, and already Gackt is just trying to close in this space against Sephiroth, and Ken is just doing a whole lot of mid-range camping, right? We've seen a lot of fade back kills, a lot of forwarders as well, just avoiding a lot of Ness's attacks, and almost past that vibe check, but the very last multi-hit ends up poking Sephiroth's shield.
And there we go, the Octo Slash. I feel like the Octo Slash is going to be a very crucial part with this recovery. You've mentioned recovery before from Sephiroth, and Ness has lots of tools to be able to kind of, disrupt the process of getting back to the stage. But I feel like Octo Slash, especially if you time it right, you catch Gackt sleeping, you could definitely clear up that edge very easily for yourself.
But you could catch Ken sleeping too, because Ness has some of the best Octo Slash counter play in the game, be it in the form of PK Fire. So he's popping that out. Does not matter how much you're planking over here. You just set up all of these active hitboxes, and now just trying to stall a little bit on his way down. Not able to occupy that space in front of Ken, and oh my god.
Okay, hey. He says, hey, nice up smash. I'll see you on my own, and actually take the stock with it. But, beautiful start right here for Gackt. Definitely a little bit of that little juice he needs to kind of continue to push this set into his favor. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned before, and it's only from what we can see on Start GG, it is 9-2 in Ken's favor. So Gackt's feeling pretty good here.
Yeah, and Gackt has no double jump here, and Ken just able to flow chart that recovery beautifully. Just drop down, bait out the air dodge, and then all of a sudden, you can get an impeccable punish every single time. Now, all of a sudden, the percent difference is basically non-existent as Gackt finds a double forwarder, but that's what I mean, baby. That's Ness edge guarding, and that's what makes it so good against Sephiroth.
Yeah, I mean, Sephiroth, it's just one of those things where you kind of get caught up in some of the worst case scenarios where if you have a character who has those tools like you mentioned that Ness has, it just kind of wash, rinse, repeat there. And right there, you just actually cleaned it up very easily.
Without a doubt. And now, Gackt's gonna be stuck off stage. This is such a nasty place as well. How do you actively escape the ledge? Well, you gotta mix up your neutral get ups, you gotta mix up your double jump options as well. And gonna be absorbing that, but has to go for the regrab, or maybe not. Ken thinking that Gackt would just stay in front of him.
Yeah, a little bit of a nice snacky snack to try and continue this set here. Now, sitting on the second stock, Sephiroth has not taken any damage, of course. The luck of the Irish and the curse of the commentator comes into play here. Getting just 5.7%, so nothing too crazy. But Gackt still living here after the up air. He's going to be trying to tack on just a little bit more percentage if he can.
Okay, just waiting back a little bit. If there is something that Sephiroth lacks, it is definitely out of shield options sometimes, right? So you just got to respect that. You got to reset the situation. Gackt makes it back onto the stage here and is just looking for any opening because this lead is not a massive one right now.
All right, and there we go, the back air, but you know what, not too bad. A nice comfy 46% here. Now that's enough to feel good getting into this final stock, but I wouldn't feel like, I have this game definitely on lock here. Oh, but that's huge. I feel like you didn't need to hit him afterwards because I feel like there's a chance he wasn't gonna be able to make it back, or he could have just disrupted that in general. Okay, but there we go, beautiful tech, still gonna stay alive here and trying to find a way to battle back.
Yeah, so one of the biggest intentions of Ness actually using his head intentionally to hit like something else is so that he can minimize the amount of end lag he has, right? So that he can transition into like the last part of the animation. Because sometimes, even with the tail, opponents can come back onto the stage a little too quickly and punish you. But all of a sudden, Ken is basically evened up the percent, just trying to find any way to get Gackt off stage. He'll call him out for whipping that forwarder. Gackt off stage against Sephiroth. How does he make it back on?
Oh, well, right now it's really getting scary. I mean, we saw that 46% lead going into the final stock, and it's all but disappeared. And now, okay, he was definitely trying to go out there. That's it, baby. And that's the power of Sephiroth, man. I mean, especially when you got that wing, you get that additional jump, right? And that gives you that extra resource to really go out there and disrupt anybody's recovery. Anybody's recovery. And obviously Ness being a bit floaty, a slow faller, it gives you a little bit more time sometimes to be able to really get out there.
Dude.
Yeah,
Ness
get
is
right
so
in his face.
bad. It's
Oh,
so sad.
stop.
It's so sad, man. That's like, I mean, Ken is playing this matchup well. That's Ness off stage. You just have to like force him to use either his double jump or his air dodge or something. As soon as you make him go for the low recovery, Sephiroth has both access to like down B, to Scintilla, and to Octo Slash as well. Ness has a tough time, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of characters have a tough time with Sephiroth. So, I mean, it makes sense. Again, it's that forward air, right? It pokes so far. It's nothing like crazy. It can take stocks way out off the stage, but it's just like, it's such a great poking tool, straight up, even though it is literally a poke itself.
Yeah, it's tough out here. Ness doesn't want to get poked in the eyes with anything. And all of a sudden, Ken just applying all of this pressure. I feel like this is such a good stage for Ken, though. I don't know why Gackt opted to go here. I would argue that this is one of Sephiroth's best stages, just because of how like much and how effectively he covered space on this one.
Right now, they're trying to battle his way back to center stage. That was good, but now being sent back off stage here. And we can see those PK fires come out a little bit more often here. You definitely called that out as, you know, Ken goes off stage with Sephiroth. That PK fire can definitely disrupt that recovery a little bit. So he's definitely looking for it, which is a great sign.
Oh, yeah. Trying to look for some of these double jump cancel PK fires. Ken is never on the diagonals of the platform. He's always like kind of avoiding them. He's always trying to catch Gackt's actual jump onto the platform to begin with. No air dodge. Tries to back off. Not able to punish that in time. And, ooh, Gackt is cooking something.
Well, right now he's going to have to eat that forward air once again. 114, or excuse me, 115 to 111. And there he goes. Trying to get off stage there. All right, just kind of sat there crouched. I was like, what's the play? Apparently nothing, which is fine sometimes.
Yeah, I think Ken wasn't like trying to two-frame that time around, because sometimes you can go for like a beefy up B as Ness and punish a lot of those kinds of down tilts. Cloud down tilt, Sephiroth down tilt, those kinds of things. But that time around, Ken did it. He got it. He got that stock off. And now he's looking for this next neutral, perhaps a bit of a grab. Back in to set up a tech chase onto the platform, applying all of this pressure onto Ness and just kind of spacing Gackt out.
We saw that back air attempt. All right, there we go. The up throw into the nair. Again, just tacking on some great damage here. 59% extra credit. Gackt starting to struggle a little bit and trying to close out the stock. And the thing is like, Ness's kill power is pretty solid, especially for a character like Sephiroth, who is very, very light, as we can see, and also a big hitbox, or hurtbox. It's kind of weird to see him live that long.
Indeed, but sometimes it's all about actually getting close enough, and there it is, baby, that Scintilla. It is menacing, it is brutal, and it catches Ness slipping off stage. All of a sudden, the stock discrepancy is 2-1 in Ken's favor. He is spacing out Gackt. Gackt is not able to find any of these openings, and I just feel like Ken is always just in a better position relative to the stage than Gackt is.
So right now, we're getting into his last stock here for Gackt, and this is definitely a little bit intimidating, right? Especially on your stage counter pick. This is where you thought would be the next best place to go, and instead, Ken just kind of continues winning. And smart, but is that going to throw the game? No, okay. It's not too often we see a magnet kill. Just straight up magnet, nothing else.
Oh my god, Gackt? Are you serious? What's wrong with you? What happened to you, man? He just flipped the switch. I have never seen a Ness go that deep for an edge guard against Sephiroth, but that just tells you the amount of times these two have played against one another's skill.
Yeah, he's definitely got the tech on deck, and I mean, honestly, you needed it because that was a huge way to get yourself back into the game. What I thought was pretty much a guaranteed loss is now a very competitive game too, all of a sudden, with, I mean, Ken still has a small lead here, but it's not like Ness can't do it.
I like the fact that Gackt backed off there. He wasn't going for anything else fancy. He's like, okay, you know what? I messed up. I'm just going to focus on resetting neutral. Goes through the PK Thunder. Such a good forward from Ken to swat it away, to make it back onto the stage. And Gackt going for a double jump out of disadvantage. He doesn't do those too often, and Ken was not ready to cover that space.
Yep, there we go, falling right into that back air once again. Ooh, you can see there's like, oh, that's very unfortunate. I was about to say, you can see that there's a lot of play and counterplay to both players trying to go off stage to get these edge guards. And right there was just a tough scenario. Hey, you know, I'm going to put this pressure on you. That means you got to be really pinpoint accurate in how you recover. And unfortunately for Gackt, just a little too far.
Oh, yeah. Man, once again, a little bit tough for Ness, right? Because Sephiroth definitely has, like, so much, like, presence off stage compared to Ness. He has a huge hitbox in the form of Octo Slash. He also has a quick recovery mix-up in the form of his regular B. And he's got, like, a third jump sometimes, too. And Ness really doesn't want to use his double jump too much off stage unless he has to recover low. So Ken made it a super difficult time for Gackt off stage, excuse me. And we're going to game 3. It's 2-0 in Ken's favor. This still feels doable for Gackt.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, we've seen plenty of reverse 3-0s in our time, right? And sometimes it's because you need a second game to adapt and just kind of change up the game plan a little bit, right? Because sometimes game 1 and 2 are just, hey, I need to figure out as much as I can. I learned a lot game 1. I need to apply some stuff. Oh, that didn't work? All right, time to go back to the drawing board. Here's plan C. And right now, seems to be working for Gackt here. Looks like this is a nice change of pace for the stage. 34% on the board is all that Ken was able to manage. And but now down a whole stock.
Oh, somebody tried to go for like a B reverse PK fire, didn't find it. Double jump cancel PK fire into the forwarder is going to give Gackt quite a bit of damage here. That forwarder was so ambiguous because you don't know if you're going to cross up, you don't know if Gackt is going to fade back, and that is the beauty that Ness's air acceleration offers you. Even if he's not fast, Ness can be tricky with how quickly he alternates directions.
All right, but there we go. Lands with the nair to put him right back off stage, and now in position to actually take a 2-stock lead. Does not get it with the up air. Beautiful DI from Ken, not allowing this stock to just dissipate against his own will. But, whoa! Yeah, that's part of the problem, man. It's hard to go off stage willingly when Ness has stage control because you have to deal with getting back to an up smash or down smash or anything like that. Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's it.
Too deep. That's all that it's going to be. Gackt going to be taking game number 3 against Ken. And I got to say, I think he is adapting so well. One of the biggest things is also he is not letting Ken get away with anything off stage. Ness does not have a lot of advantageous positions in this matchup, but he knows how to flowchart that recovery every single day of the week. So Gackt is looking good. He's looking fresh. I'm excited to see game 4.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see how this plays out, but he played much better that game 3. It looks like he figured out everything he wanted to figure out and start applying, you know, some good pressure, getting some great damage. But the problem here becomes, right, is even though you're up 2-0 or 2-1 now, it doesn't mean that you don't have adaptations that you can't make yourself, right? So what does Ken have in the pocket here to try and seal this one out? What is he going to bring to the table? It looks like PS2. He said, all right, cool. Listen, I saw your small battlefield. Let's make it a little bit bigger and see what we can get going here.
This favors both characters in different ways. I feel like the choice of PS2, Ness loves biplat stages just so that he can get away with a lot of PK Fire stuff. And Sephiroth likes PS2 because big stage. So, let's just see how this one's going to end up playing out. Already Gackt, much like last game, opening off with a pretty huge lead, and Ken has just not been able to land. I feel like Gackt, he's been opting for a lot of things like up throw. He's been opting for a lot of PK Thunders, and just really exploiting how Sephiroth can struggle to land.
Yeah. Okay, the trail of that PK Thunder actually... Oh, wait, this could be huge. Never mind. Decides to back off. Goes for a PK Thunder just to try and tack on some additional damage. I don't hate it. I would have liked for Gackt to be a bit more aggressive, but honestly, that's why he's there and I'm not. Because he knows, hey, this is not the best time to be aggressive against Ken.
He didn't want to risk it, but I do believe that PK Fire was like a sweet spot. It would have been able to combo into a forwarder, which would have been able to take that stock. But it does not matter. He just needs to now find a way to be able to close. He had that opportunity last time. He missed it. He's now all the way at 81%. Ken is slowly but surely making a bit of a comeback here. Such a good time shield. He dashed, he shielded, and Ken is now swatting away these PK Thunders like flies.
I mean, but that's just kind of what it comes down to for Ken. There's a reason why he's one of the most celebrated players in the world, right? One of the best. It's because if you give him that chance to try and find a way to take the game into his favor, he's going to take that and some more. Potentially taking a lead. Okay, too early on the Scintilla, which is a little bit unfortunate for him, but a beautiful breath of fresh air for Gackt as he gets to extend his stock just a little bit longer.
Oh my gosh, the up airs galore over and over again. Those were some ugly hits of up air too, since he didn't connect all those hits.
Yeah.
But I also want to say, you talked about that scintilla. That was possible because of how much Gackt delayed his angle. He's going through a lot of these vertical angles, which is just a little bit more difficult to react to, some of which are completely unreactable, which is like kind of the only mix-up Ness has. And ooh, Gackt was going through something. He had to turn the stove down because had he just PK Thundered into Ken, Ken would have been able to scintilla that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things you get caught up in, and that's the thing about PK Thunder, right? Once you kind of commit to that, you kind of need to follow through. There is no just stop charging, right? You either hit something or you get hit. That's kind of how it ends. But right now, Ken was able to take that stock, right? 89% is not too bad, but as you can see, he's slowly bringing it back. We saw a little bit of that juggle gameplay come into fruition, which you pointed out at the very beginning of the set as well.
Yeah, it's how he's getting a lot of his damage, and that's going to combo into the up air. Beautiful stuff. PK Thunder into up air. You got to angle it a type of way. It's a little fairly complicated, but when you do connect it, when you get it done, you can clean up those stocks pretty consistently from offstage without really committing to anything. But speaking of commitments, oh no, Gackt. Oh no, buddy.
Yeah, this is definitely, things get a little bit scary, but 26%, you know, it's not too bad, but it's not enough to be comfortable, especially against a player like Ken here. Okay, but there we go. A couple projectiles, just barely misses on the PK fire. That's super unfortunate. That would have been a lot of damage that get racked up there as well.
Wow, what spacing.
Dude, oh my God. Just slapping him across the stage.
Leave him alone, man. Oh, jeez. Gackt not able to cover the roll from ledge on time. Big PK fire, but it was only the edge of Sephiroth, so he was just able to hold out. Ken was able to escape that situation, and that's going to be another PK Thunder. This could be the stock.
Oh, that was a little bit scary, but you know what? He was able to get out of that unscathed, but I feel like Gackt almost threw away the game right there. If Ken went for an Octo Slash, I mean, he wouldn't have taken the stock, but that would have been a very difficult position to put yourself into. But here we are. Ooh, what's the play?
Okay, he's just jumping just outside of his range. Ken is slowly finding his way in. Gackt is stuck off stage. He's able to plank successfully the first time this set, I believe. Just backing off a little bit. Both of them are going to be trying to get this opening, but Gackt was just barely off.
Ooh, yeah, he definitely tried to, he really wanted to close out that game with that forward air, right? The first one, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's going to be the set. The first forward air I wanted to point out, like, was like definitely a good, hey, I'm here. The second one was like, he was trying to close out. He did not want to allow Gackt to get back on stage. But it is what it is. Ken found a way. Sephiroth found a way. And that is a stock down, a game down, a set down. But he does punch his ticket into losers finals here. We're going to be seeing Shuton versus Ken come up in just a little bit.
I want to talk about that game for a second.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead.
That was a heartbreaker to myself. This is what happens when Ness hits a forward. They hit forward and it's like, okay, classic Ness stuff, double jump forward. You're like, perfect, that's the guaranteed damage. Every single Ness wants that third forward. They're like, ooh, I want to get you deep off stage. I want to put you in this nasty position. And that's what Gackt wanted. He had that urge, he had that hunger in him. And you know what?